Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. Guys, I'm super excited today. Today's episode, we talking about, would you date yourself? I'm going to keep it honest. I think most people won't, but they're going to say they would. But in reality, I think most people wouldn't. And the reason why I think they wouldn't is because a lot of people have expectations that they expect their mates to do, therefore ultimately creating toxic situations. I think a lot of people are looking for the fathers that they wish they had growing up, and I think a lot of men are looking for the mothers that they wish they had growing up. This is the climate we're in today in the dating world, and then we realize that why is the dating world so toxic? Because again, you have a lot of people who didn't have fathers and a lot of people who didn't have mothers. So therefore, they're looking for mothers in women and they're looking for fathers in men. Because some of the things I listen to what women expect from a man, I'm like, damn, you didn't even get that from your father. And that's scary. But I have to say this to my women and my men. When you reference a relationship, where is your reference coming from? If your mother and father wasn't married or dating, right, your household didn't have two people in it, where is your reference coming from? A lot of people reference relationships, but I'm asking them in a healthy term, like, where did you get your statistics or your understanding of what a healthy relationship look like? Because in most cases, you have to learn by seeing, therefore knowing, because you saw it. In other words, if a person never saw it, they will ultimately be talking about what social media shows. Because there's no other reference. Where's your reference besides movies? You Netflix and chilled with a movie that actually showed you what a movie looks like in a relationship. I think a lot of people believe that the movies are reality, and then they want the relationship like in a movie. For instance, when a person walks in a room, they want butterflies, but that ain't reality. You're going to have more damn, I got to do this again, than more butterflies. The longer you're with somebody, the more you'll have damn, then you'll have butterflies. Let me say that again. The longer you're with somebody, the more you'll have damn, then you'll have butterflies. And reality is you have to choose that every day, this is what I'm committed to. A healthy relationship is a commitment. It's an everyday commitment that you're choosing to do, therefore building with this person. Because when you say win, lose, or draw, you're going to be in the trenches with this person. That's a healthy relationship. I think people look at, do he or she make me happy? These are the things that are toxic when you're talking about dating. Because we're putting a job on top of a job on top of a job. Being with someone shouldn't be a job. Let me say that again. Being with someone shouldn't be a job, whether male or female. It should be a team. And I think people are creating their life to be jobs. This is why you have a lot of people that are single. Because it's a job to be with you. And everyone knows that in most cases, most people hate their job. This is why they're going to hate the relationship, because it's a job. I need you to do this and this and that and this and that. Your job gives you a bucket list of what they expect. And so does your relationship. I think more people need to learn this laundry list that you've created is the reason why you're still single. I think the things that you put on your laundry list, you don't even expect out of yourself. Let me say that again. I believe that there are people right now who have a laundry list of what they expect a person to do for them in a relationship, but they would not do those things. Let me say this on record. I'm going to go there. And I thought somebody going to get a little offended. But guess what? Damn. I don't give a damn. In reality, when you sit down and evaluate this conversation, we always talk about value. A lot of times, there are a lot of women that say that they're the value. They're the value. In reality, I'm going to tell you this again, ladies. A woman is not as valuable as a man. And I'm going to tell you why. Before you get offended, before you get in your feelings, listen to what I'm saying. A woman will meet a man and she would expect this man to give his life for her. But a woman wouldn't give her life for her man. The ultimate sacrifice a person can give you is their life. So you're telling me because you gave me money, some sex, and some attention, you telling me that's more valuable than a man's life? But in reality, you asking for him to work hard for you, right? And all he's asking in return is respect him and submit to him. And you asking him, the ultimate sacrifice is give your life for me. And I'm being honest with you. Most women would expect their men to give their life physically for them. If something happens, they would expect that man to go above and beyond to protect her to the point where he's willing to lose his life. And if a woman says no, I'm going to say, you're lying. You're lying. So when you ask that question, to meet an absolute stranger, listen to this, stay with me, to meet an absolute stranger who did not know you before the age of 30, and he decides to be willing to give his whole life for you, and you don't think that's more valuable? That don't even make sense. Think about that narrative. If I have two security guards, one works hard, but the other one is willing to give their life for me, which security guard is more valuable? Let me ask that again. If I have two security guards that are designed, or their job is to protect me, one of them is willing to give their life for me, and the other one is actually just going to work hard, which one is more valuable? Even if the guy that don't work hard for me, I'm going to still respect the guy that's willing to give their life for me more. Period. We just talking logic. But when you say these things, I think a lot of women get offended because they've created these narratives in their little delusional world that is not right. And then we push in this narrative. It's foolishness. Because I have never heard a man say, I want her to give her life for me. But I've definitely heard a ton of women say, I want him to be willing to give his life for me. And I'm just being honest. I have never heard a man in my existence say, I want her to give her life for me. But I've definitely heard women say they expect a man to be willing to give his life for her. So how are you the value? The higher value is the person that's willing to crash out for you. And you know how you know this. In your mind, you can sit there and say, well, I don't, you lying. If you're sitting in a bed right now and y'all both hear a noise, chances are, in most cases, you're going to tell that man to go check the noise. And when a man go check the noise, you're going to expect him to be what? Defend whatever that noise is. So if it's an intruder that's trying to rob the house or cause harm to that family, you expect that husband to be willing to protect. So in reality, if you can't say that by truth, then therefore we already have a problem within itself. If a man is expected to give his life for you, why is it so hard for you to respect him? When you ask him for the hardest and the ultimate sacrifice, he has to be willing to do in order for him to be looked at as a man that you're going to respect. We talking diabolical, guys. And the sad part is a lot of people are so caught up in their delusion, they can't see reality. Men are more valuable, period. He's expected to do more. A woman can come with nothing and still be looked at as a woman. But a man has to earn his value. So in reality, the person that earns their value will always have the highest value. The things that a man expects from a woman is very minute and small comparable to what a woman expects from a man. And if we're going to lie, that's why you living in your singleness, because you're not telling yourself the truth. I'm very honest, and I hold myself accountable to those standards that a lot of women expect. But in the same breath, I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to make myself feel like a person is more valuable who I give more time to stay at home doing absolutely nothing when I'm out there killing myself to make sure my family is good. There is no way I'm going to make a person think she's more valuable than me when I'm the one that's busting my body down to make sure that I'm bringing that paper home to the family so we can eat good and live good. And that person is more valuable. I think that's where the delusion kicks in. That's where the delusion kicks in. But when you say this, there are a lot of women that get offended, but I'm not dissing women. I'm just stating the obvious. Go ahead, Tyler.
So Cece says women give their lives during pregnancy and delivery.
For that child that they want. Because a woman is the last decision maker on having a child. You're the final say, so even if a man didn't want that child, you can still have it. A man has no choice if you choose to have that child. The only choice he has is when two consensual adults have intimacy with no protection, y'all both made a choice. But in reality, the final decision of a childbearing is a woman. She has the final say so. And legally, the law is going to hold him obligated to that child, even if he don't want that child. And that's a fact. So reality is talking about labor, like you giving, and I'm not going to sit there and act like that's nothing. But in retrospect, that's a choice. Because the woman she chooses sex. So if a woman allows a man to enter her without protection, that woman made a conscious decision that she was willing to. And I'm just being honest. Because the woman has the final say-so for a child. And if anybody say otherwise, they don't know what bearing children look like. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I know a lot of men right now who told the woman they didn't want to have the child, and the woman still had the child, and then they get told that they're bad men, but in reality, the man wasn't in a position to take care of the kid and told the woman, I don't want to have the kid, but the woman still went on and had the kid. And then she tries to control him by calling him a bum, deadbeat man, but in reality, the man never even wanted the kid. There are some people walking around Earth right now who were not meant to be here because they were not planned or they weren't expected, and it happened by choice of a woman, and I'm being fair. I'm just being fair. But if you say this, you're wrong. There are a lot of people walking on Earth right now who the father did not want a child with the mother. She could have been a jump off. Somebody's mom was a thotty. I'm going to call it what it is. Somebody's mother was a thotty. She was a jump off that went too far. And we got to call it what it is. Everyone knows somebody that had a baby with somebody that was a thotty and it was a jump off. Come on. It happens. It went too far. Right? And ladies, sometimes you get pregnant by the man that was your thotty. And it went too far. He was a bum. And it went too far. The same way a man can have a baby by a thotty, a woman can have a baby by a bum. It went too far. And a lot of times when we don't even take into account that the genetics that you transferring for these children, 50% of children that have alcohol abuse in their genealogy can pass on the gene of alcohol abuse. 50%. So that means if your grandfather's, your baby daddy's grandfather or uncles or is in their gene pool, right? Then let's go further to say substance abuse. Substance abuse actually heightens to about 70%. 70% from tobacco and up can inherit substance abuse. So we talking logic. But there are a lot of things that we don't talk about because when you bearing children, you should be conscious of who you bearing children with. You can't have a baby with a bum and expect him to be a superhero. You can't have a baby with a bum and expect him to be a superhero. Just like you can't have a baby with a thought and expect her to be a housewife. Let me say that again. You can't have a baby with a bum man and expect him to be a superhero. Just like a man can't have a baby with a thotty and expect her to be a housewife. It's just what it is. That means you living in delusion. You're in a fairy tale. The culture is so delusional that it's diabolical. But in most cases, I ask most people, and I genuinely believe that most humans won't date themselves. I don't think most people will date themselves. Because if there's a video, and it's crazy. You would think that logically women would understand women, right? You would think that, right? So I'm asked this question, and I'm not dissing women. I know people gonna be like, oh, he's going at women. I'm just telling facts. If women know women so well, when a woman becomes a lesbian, why do they have the highest divorce rate out of any person that could date? Women on women have the highest divorce rate. Why is that? Why? I think because we lie to ourselves. Because we don't tell ourselves the truth, and we have to be honest. Most women look for someone that can give them more than love them. Let me say that again. Most women look for men that can give them more than that can love them. Because most women never been loved by a man, so they don't know how to be loved by a man. And in most cases, right, they're not receptive of love because the love that they expect looks very, very, very transactional. Most women have a prostitutional mentality when it comes to love. Most women have a prostitutional mentality when it comes to love. They expect you to give them what they're not willing to give themselves. Why are you expecting a man to go above and beyond for your birthday, but you will not go above and beyond for his? If you can't tell me that's diabolical, then I don't know what it is. These is two grown people who should celebrate their mates on their days. But yet and still, the man gets the grass on earth while the woman wants the stars in the sky. That is diabolical. That's diabolical. But this is the culture. We've been conditioned to think that this is normal. To the point that you have women who have men that are taking care of their children and don't celebrate Father's Day to the magnitude of what they should. Mother's Day is a regular thing at this point because there's 1,000 mothers. But in reality, there's not a lot of good fathers. So when you do have a good father, you would think that y'all would overly celebrate the father. Why? Because there are not a lot of good fathers. A lot of times women say that there are not a lot of good men, which is I agree with. But in retrospect, the good men should be celebrated more. Why? Because they're not a lot. So therefore, giving the man more valuable. It's common sense, guys. We're talking common sense. If there are not a lot of good men, and there are a lot of good women, right? That means the good men are more valuable. And it's just what it is. The sad part is I see kings take off their crowns and date peasants and never build a kingdom because they're too busy trying to fix peasants. I've seen kings take off their crowns and date a peasant and never become the king that he's meant to be. Because I'm going to be honest with you, the issue with a man being down is he dates down. And when a man dates down, he makes choices that actually keeps him down. A man has to be very strategic because logic says a man has to build himself in order for him to be received or respected as a man. But if a man is trying to build a woman or fix a woman, he is losing the effort and energy that he could be pouring into himself. I said a video the other day that I think a man should be selfish. People got offended, but I said a man should be selfish. In the beginning of a man becoming a man should be very selfish because all your resources, which you will be, listen, you're judged by your resources of what you built. So when you premature give away your resources, you actually lowering your value yourself by giving away what you're going to be judged based on having. Listen to this again, man. I hope y'all listening good. I'm giving you gems right now. If society judge you based on what you built, why would you prematurely give away what you can build, therefore being looked at as a bum because you gave away what you didn't build for yourself? And therefore, the woman will say, that's your problem. I've seen men hang out with women all week, right? Take off of work, hang out with the woman, and then when the bills come, the woman be like, how you gonna pay the bills? Because again, the man wasn't thinking logical. I tell every man, put your money first. Put your money first. I've seen a lot of men lose women chasing women, but I ain't see a lot of men lose women chasing money. Let me say that again. I've seen a lot of men lose women chasing women, but I have not seen a lot of men lose women that chase that bag. And it's sad to say that women respect the bag more than they actually respect anything else. And it's sad. And a lot of times we hear, oh, but he's supposed to do. He's supposed to do. What the hell are you supposed to do? What the hell are you supposed to do? The girl said to me the other day, she said, oh, he don't clean up. I clean up everything. You spend more time at the house, so you basically clean them after yourself. You basically cleaning them after yourself. But this rant gonna sound like I'm dissing women, but in reality, I'm just trying to give y'all logic. But a lot of women can't see it because they think that they're so overly valued. There are gonna be a lot of women who think they're baddies who's gonna die alone. And the reason they're gonna alone is because they don't see that they're making poor decisions. A lot of the times women wish they could double back and they would have wished they would have dated different when they were younger. I'm telling you facts. A lot of women overvalue themselves. And I'm going to talk logical. There are a lot of men that don't have the standards of dating y'all to the magnitude of what y'all created to date y'all. Y'all standards be ridiculous. So a lot of times when them guys that you dissing, that's your level. If you got a woman that's always got a man that's a level 4, that means shorty, you ain't who you think you are. If those men that are millionaires and billionaires ain't beating on your door and ain't in your DM, then that means you ain't that level. Stop letting social media fool y'all. Stop misconstruing sex advances to actually relationships. DMs, 90% of DMs and 98% of DMs is sex advances. It's trying to persuade you to give up the drawers. If a woman's taking her Instagram as, oh, this is the standard of how the world's gonna perceive me, no, it's an easy way to get a yes or no out of you fast. No, it's easier to get a yes or no out of you fast from a social media. I shoot my shot, you don't respond, I move on to the next one. That's the issue with social media. It's giving people the ability to believe that they have more access to people than they actually have. The ability to believe that there are so many people that are waiting for them that are actually not. I'm gonna teach you something about dating apps. A lot of dating apps have something called bots. And what they do, they send you fake DMs and fake responses that keep you engaged on the app. So therefore, reality is, if you don't have nobody DMing you or writing you, you're more inclined to what? Get off the app. But if you think you lit on the app, guess what? You're more inclined to actually stay on the app. So what the dating apps do is they create bots. And these bots randomly send out a lot of responses and interact with people. This is the same thing as you see as AI. They are very good at responding because they've been trained how to respond to human interaction. And these bots know exactly what to say to you. Hey, beautiful, good morning. In your mind, you believe that that's an advance of a relationship. but that's actually a bot. And that's the problem we have in society. More people believe that there are so many people out there checking for them. That's not. More people think that DM is on fire when it's not. Most women, their life has dried up as they've gotten older. But in reality, when you were younger, you had the highest value when it came to dating. Don't become old and get bitter and then lie to yourself about, well, I wasn't choosing Mr. Right. I was waiting for my Mr. Right. No, sister, you've been Mr. Wrong the whole time. Because you were taught wrong on what a real man is. You were taught wrong what a real man is. More couples are more likely to build a house and a family together than a woman or a man that's going to come premature. If a man comes with everything together, believe you me, he going to look past you. I'm going to say that in most cases, if a woman is looking for a man that's 100% put together, he going to look past you when he is together. He's going to be very, very selective. And you better be the elite woman when you get that, when you're looking for that elite man. Let me say that again. If a man has to build himself completely all the way together when you're looking to advance and date him, or you want to be courted by a man like that, that man is going to be very, very selective. And in most cases, you might be in line as the number 2 or 3 option because he know he has what? Options. And the more he sets his life up, guess what he has more of what? Options. It's just what it is. But if a woman can't hear this, that means she's living in a fairy tale. Go ahead.
It's crazy because growing up, I used to hear like from my aunts, even my mom sometimes, like to like my sister, my cousins, you better find you that rich man. You better find you that rich man. I can't wait till you find that rich man. Not knowing that rich man may never even look their way.
I don't want to be funny. Did she find that rich man?
No.
And it's listen, we talking logical, right? If you're a multimillionaire woman and you're around a lot of multimillionaire men, I can understand why you're being pursued by a lot of multimillion-dollar men. You have women who work at Walmart talking about he has to run a Fortune 500. Ladies, that sounds crazy. I seen a video. There was a woman working at McDonald's and a guy tried to talk to her that worked at McDonald's. And she told him, you don't make enough money for me. But you know what he said in response? You don't make enough money for yourself. Because a lot of times, the women have such materialistic beliefs in the lifestyle that they want to live that they overvalue themselves to believe that they're worthy and deserving of things. And I hate to say this, that is a extreme sign of narcissism. One of the number 1 traits of narcissism is something called entitlement. When you expect a man to just give you, that means you're entitled. And if you don't understand that, you're basically being a prostitute because you expect him to give you in advance, you're going to give him what? Vagina. So that means you're a prostitute. That's a prostitutional mentality. A lot of y'all mothers was outside in traffic and they taught you that mentality. A lot of women was taught this mentality from parents that was outside in traffic. And your mother ain't gonna tell you that she was promiscuous. A lot of y'all got 2 and 3 and 4 baby siblings from different dads. And y'all close in age. Listen to that narrative. Listen, we gotta get out this baby mama, baby daddy mentality. We think this is cool, but it ain't. Look at that narrative. You take a woman who has a bunch of kids, who has 3, 4 kids, 3, 4 baby daddies. That means your mother move on very fast. In today's society, that we considered a what? A Jezebel. Just like a man that don't have anything was considered what? A bum. But a woman that's promiscuous is considered a hoe. We gonna call a spade a spade. Just because you try to put lipstick on a pig, it don't mean it ain't a pig, it's still a goddamn pig. Truth is truth. When you take a woman who's outside in traffic promiscuously, therefore she's what? A hoe. And a man that hasn't built his life up is either a bum or immature as hell. We just talking logic. But some people get offended when you say things like this. And I'm like, listen, I don't really care. The truth is the truth. When did it become cool to have kids that are close in age and have different fathers? That sounds crazy as hell. That sounds crazy. And then on top of it, you want the highest valued man. That don't even make sense. But again, that's the mentality that social media has created. You'll watch Shawnee O'Neal, who's worth millions and millions of dollars, have Shaquille O'Neal big old kids, and then you think that that's the standard. That ain't the damn standard. That's abnormal. In most cases, most women won't have that situation. She's lucky that she carries that O'Neal last name. More people want to be attached. Kardashian will always have somebody that want to date him because she carried that Kardashian name. They know the lifestyle that come along with being with them. But the lifestyle that come along with being with you is what? Come on. You're comparing yourself to a celebrity that you know, therefore you're not a celebrity, but you watch celebrities. There are a lot of men and women that talk about not being married because they got nothing to lose and they think they're gonna lose something. But meanwhile, the healthiest is when two people come together, put their resources together, and then they build something together. That is more common and more logical than any other way. You can take other cultures who come across the border and come into the country, and they build a life with absolutely nothing. With absolutely nothing, they start rubbing fire sticks together and make a fire. And they go from there. Because what they do, they work together. But the culture on our side is we against each other so much that we believe that we're going to be so successful and we're going to have so much money because I said so. That's diabolical. The chance of that happening is slim to none. Someone call in right now, 516-253-1150. Once again, someone call in, 516-253-1150. If you agree or disagree, tell me how you feel. But we're going to have a logical conversation. And I'm not saying none of this stuff to disrespect no man or no woman. This is logic. I feel like right now we're in a culture of too much participation awards. Everybody wants to be in the talks for winning when you lost. In order to learn how to win, you got to learn from losing. In order to learn how to win, you got to learn from losing. You don't get a participation award at life. Either you're doing what you got to do or you're not. There is no kind of sorta. Social media has created this mentality where everybody believes they're winners. In reality, everyone is not a winner. So if we're going to lie to ourselves over and over and over and over, this is going to be the problem that's going to continue to keep our culture plagued and stuck in the same vicious cycle over and over and over. It's a repetitive cycle. And this is what it is. There's a girl that said to me the other day, I said, where your children, she has 3 kids, where your baby daddies at? They all in jail. That means you have an addiction with convicts. 3 kids, right? All 3 of your kids are fathers in jail or been in jail. That means you have an attraction to convicts. If I date all my kids, if I have 3 kids and all 3 of my kids' mother are tall, that means I'm attracted to tall women. It's the same narrative. You like street dudes. Some women, they get a thrill off the rush. And a good guy is considerably the square, but that's the safe guy. And then when you get older, you want to double back to him, but it's too late. It's too late. You got to make choices. And the sad part is we need to teach the next generation not to make these same poor choices. 9 out of 10 times when a woman says this, and I'm going to go on record, 9 out of 10 times when a woman say she don't need a man is because of the fact that she can't find a man. I'm going to say that again. 9 out of 10 times when a woman says she don't need a man is because she can't find a man. Facts. Because if she had a man, believe you me, she wouldn't talk like that. She wouldn't talk like that because when you get a man adds value to your life. A man enhances. A man don't decrease. A man bring more than he actually came there with. A man builds. A man don't destroy. A man don't take away. So the fact of the matter is these boys you've been intimate with, you're comparing those boys to the men that could actually advance you. And in reality, then you speak with your tongue, I don't need a man. Guess what that means? The words, they give life. And all you do is keep getting boys. Because every time you talk, you keep saying you don't need a man. And guess what? You keep finding boys. There are a lot of people that say they don't need a man, but their bedroom ain't been lonely for a long time. They could find somebody getting intimate with, though. There's some women that say they don't need no man, but they keep getting pregnant, too. We talking logical. But a lot of people gonna get offended by the truth. But I don't really care no more. Like we at a point now where we gotta start holding ourselves accountable. We can't keep making excuses for our poor decision making. Our culture has been so conditioned to think that something is wrong is right, and something that is right is still wrong. And that's the sad part. The truth is never wrong. When did the truth become wrong? When? When people started getting insecure. When people stopped holding themselves accountable. When people started getting on social media lying to themselves. When they started dressing up poverty and looking like you rich online, but damn sure living with roaches. This is a mentality. Live twisted, but online you look like a superstar, right? But in reality, you live horrible. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna keep it 100. And this is me being honest. If you need a wig and makeup to make you cute, then you're not cute. I'm gonna say that again. If you need a wig and makeup to make you cute, then you're not cute. Just like if a man needs a luxury vehicle to look like he's rich, guess what? He's not rich. If you need designer clothes, man, to look like you got money, then you're definitely broke. I'm going to say this again. If you need wigs and makeup to look cute, then you're not cute. It's that simple. If you don't feel comfortable coming outside in your natural look, then you're not attractive. That means you know you ugly. That means you know you ugly. Think about that. If you're uncomfortable to show your rawest form of yourself, it's because you don't think you're attractive. The same man that will lay with you when you don't look cute and dolled up, when you go outside and get all that attention when you dolled up, when that's all off of you, those men are going to walk away from you because they're only looking at what you look like dolled up. It's just what it is. And the men who look like they got all this money and pretending that they're so rich, if you can't stand there and talk to a woman without showing what you have, that means you are not confident, and you know for a fact that you only getting this woman because she looks at the perception of what you're giving her. That means you a whole bozo. You a whole bozo. And that's just reality. I call it what it is, and some people get offended. I know women that get up in the morning, they put on makeup before they go to the gym. I'm like, you put on makeup before that's how you know you're not attractive. You feel that ugly about yourself that you gotta put on a fake face before you go. That sounds crazy. And I know some men who will literally go buy an outfit, spend their last, and then ask their man at the end of the night, yo, can you buy me something to eat? Can you buy me something to eat? This is the nuance. This is normal. And we act like this is abnormal. This is sickening. This is sickening. Our culture is at such a bad space that people don't even see it because guess what? The people that aren't like that, they're going to say, I'm not like that. Then you're going to act like more people aren't. But in reality, more people are. There are always people that aren't, but there are more people that are. And I'm just going to call it what it is. We fighting a whole wrong fight. There are people that spend energy upon energy upon energy focused on all the wrong things to the point where they don't see that we can fix things about ourselves, ultimately put ourselves in a better position. But we'll never put ourselves in a better position because we don't realize that we are conditioned to stay in a positioning because we are the mentality that keeps us at that same positioning. We think that something's going to just magically change for us. There's a level of delusion there. There's a level of narcissism there. I just told you before, narcissistic beliefs is very entitled. You believe something's going to come down and just give you something. Nobody going to give you nothing you ain't earned, and if they do, they're going to talk about it every day. And that's a harsh reality. Someone call in right now, 516-253-1150, 516-253-1150. But again, I'm not sitting here saying that a woman can't wear makeup. Sometimes she want to look better. And I'm saying it's easy to put on a wig. I get it. But don't become the new personality when you put that stuff on. Let me say that again. If a man put on luxury clothes, right, and he rents a luxury car, watch this. He's a bum if he act like he's rich. So a woman is a bum if she got to pull all that stuff on to act like she's more than what she is as far as her looks. It's just what it is. Everybody done seen them things online where a woman go from a 3 to a 10 because of makeup and all of that stuff.
Hello?
Caller, what's going on, caller?
Hello?
What's going on?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. I sound from New Jersey, brother. How you doing?
I can't complain. Blessed. That's what's up, brother. Shout out New Jersey.
Definitely. You're telling the truth, brother. You're telling the truth. We need more brothers like you to speak the truth.
And listen, I come on this thing every day and I'm like, I'm tired of lying. We had a culture right now where everybody's sitting in this delusional space and they just capping to each other, telling each other what they want to hear. I don't care if somebody, my mom or my brother, my sister, my aunt. I'm telling you the truth. This is what it is.
Definitely, brother. I mean, some of it's self-explanatory. You look at the relationships when my mother, your mother, your grandmother was with their husbands. You know what I mean? They was real women. Therefore, you know, we was real men to them.
Yes.
See, now in today's generation, society teaches our women that we have to have a certain amount. We have to do this for them to be women. When in reality, they're supposed to be women. They're supposed to be real women. That's not something that's given. It's something you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? And they're teaching our daughters that they got to go out. They got to show show their butts. They got to show their chest. They got to do this. They got to do that. To be in a real relationship, and that's just not the case. You know what I mean? A man working at McDonald's can show you more love than a man that's in a Fortune 500 company.
Yes, he can.
I mean?
Yes, he can.
And women just don't want to be women. Women just don't want to be women, man. And that's what it is. That's what's hurting relationships. That's why most of them, a majority of them, are single.
You know something though? Would you say that a lot of men are not in the children's lives these days?
I would say a lot of men are not in the children's lives because the women don't allow them to be.
I would say I agree with that, but I do believe that the girls that didn't have the fathers, I think a lot of them are trying to catch up for all the Christmases and the birthdays they never had. They want the men to do all that.
Definitely. It's definitely, it's a hustle now. It's a hustle now for them. It's not them, like you said, want to piece together and pull their resources together and build something. They don't want to build anything. They want things handed to them.
Agree.
You know what I mean?
Agree.
They don't want to build anything. They don't want to build anything to say, I earned this, so therefore I am entitled because I helped build this, so I am entitled to what I get. They want to just be handed things, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. And then also, I would say, too, that some of our brothers out here are making them entitled because we have brothers out here who would give their rent. Their brothers that are living on their mother's couch there and not paying their mother any money. They give their rent to these women.
Yes, they will.
That's making these women think, oh, I deserve this, I deserve that.
Yes, they will. But that's what happens when the dad is not there. What happens is the girls look for the financial security that the dad never provided, and the men look for the emotional security that was provided. When the mother's out there providing, he never got to be nurtured as much because of the fact that she was out there providing. But then when you look at the girls, they look for the men to give them the finances that the dad didn't give them. So it's just what it is. The men are looking for the emotional security, and the women are looking for the financial security, and they just basically giving something called it's a transactional thing between the two of them. And I'm like, it's sad that you see it so prominent in today's society than ever right now.
Absolutely, and that's all true. That's definitely all true. They want something that their fathers didn't give them.
Yes.
But the thing is, you still gotta be women. If your father didn't give it to you, and you didn't receive it. You know what I mean? You still, at the end of the day, if you want to be in a relationship, you still have to be a woman. You know what it entitles to be a woman. You know what is required to be a woman. And a man's finances is not required for you to be a woman. I could be a poor man and have a poor woman, but we have a great life.
You know something that's really scary though? They've been brainwashed by so many people to the point where a man will come into a woman's life, cut her lifestyle in half as far as her expenses, and she doesn't see him as valuable. That's how scary society is today. When you're talking about, a woman will say, they say almost 80% of healthy relationships go 50-50, just so you know that. 80%, right? So now you take a woman who says that I would rather pay all of my bills than deal with a man that pays half of my bills. And I'm looking like, what? Does that even make sense? That's how you see the world is so delusional, and it's creating this mentality because there's always a fool online talking foolish, and that's creating this narrative and spewing. And that person might be very attractive to the point where they can lure those kind of guys. But then you have the regular girl that's not that attractive thinking she can still get the luxuries of that woman. That's like a broke man thinking he deserves the same restaurants that the rich man deserves. You got to know the level you at. It's just what it is.
That's right.
That's
right. See, a lot of women too. They look at these entertainers, like these actresses. Like you see the actress Lisa Ray. She won't even date a man if he can't pay all her bills. So we got women that look at that and say, "Oh, a man's supposed to pay my bills. A man, if he can't do this for me, if he can't do that for me, I don't want him." And see, but the thing is, it goes back to what you were saying. Look at her last name, Ray. She's Lisa Ray. You know what I mean? She's out there making her money. You're sitting at home doing nothing on whatever welfare, whatever the case may be, but you want somebody to pay your rent. You want somebody to pay all your bills.
Scary. My guy, I appreciate you. You talking straight facts. Let's give it up for him. Facts. Nah, I definitely appreciate you calling in, bro. You speaking nothing but facts. Listen, this is the world we in right now. And my guy was talking pure facts. Pure facts. Again, when we say these things, it creates insecurity because you know why? The world is about everything is about how we feel. How you feel. Your feelings will make you out logic. Your feelings will make you think something that's delusional and unrealistic. But that's your feelings. And feelings change just like the seasons. Feelings change like the calendar. Feelings change, right? And that's the issue when you have somebody say, well, I feel. Once you say that, you already know where this is going because it's not making sense logically. And this is our culture to the point where we can't even sit down and have a logical conversation amongst men and women and then actually make it make sense. Because the moment a man spews his truth, he's become sassy. He thinks he's this, he's that. I'm like, no, you're just so insecure from the truth to the point where you've created a lie because that's how you protect yourself from feeling the way you truly should be feeling. Because it's easier to pretend to be healthy when you're really sick. Let me say that again. It's easy to pretend to be healthy when you're really sick. And there's a lot of people out here that's really sick. And they spewing false narratives, ultimately creating a mindset that's actually turning over to the next generation. They say with every evolution becomes worse. So the evolved girls that you see in today's society, they come from the bitter scorned mothers who didn't get that superhero man that they thought was going to come in their life. And I'm just being honest. And they pour this nonsense into these little girls, and these little girls, they see these, you could tell, look at the little girls, they wear wigs younger and younger and makeup younger and younger. My generation never had that. Wigs was for old women. Wigs was for old women. I'm calling it what it is. Wigs was for old women. You got girls running around here 13, 14, and then they think that that's their real hair. The other day, the dude said, yo, she dyed her hair. No, she put on a different wig. She didn't dye nothing. This is what we talking. And this is the culture. And then we look at why we the laughing stock of all other cultures. Because we don't live in truth. We created defense mechanisms that protect us from our reality. A lot of us need to come back to reality. A lot of us need to come back to reality. Snap back into truth. Where did the truth tellers go? Where did the truth tellers go? All the truth tellers, they don't want to tell nobody the truth. I can come online right now and feed women garbage. Yo, you 50 years old and you going to meet Mr. Right. No, you're going to find, listen, a 50-year-old woman is more inclined to find someone that genuinely loves her than actually finding somebody that's rich. I'm just being honest. In most cases, a 40-year-old woman won't find a rich man, but she can find somebody that loves her. A woman that has multiple kids is more inclined to find someone that can love her more than she can find a rich man. If everything is based on finance, then you're already fooling yourself. In reality, the world is not even rich. Most people are broke. And if you go take the statistics, most rich men are married already. Look at statistics. Most rich men are already married. If y'all count, the problem is your lens. When you look at NBA players and you look at rappers and you look at NFL players and professional athletes, they are less than 1%. They are less than 1%. They're not in the 99th percentile of men. And if you did the whole totality of sports teams, let's just say it's 20,000 people. Let's say 20,000 people. Let's even make it a little better, 100,000 people. When we're talking about we live in a world of millions and millions of people. Millions of people. These people are the anomalies. They're the exception to the rule. And the girls that they usually choose, they look exceptional to the rule. We're going to call a spade a spade. But again, we create this mentality. Ladies, I would suggest my advice for me is to find somebody that genuinely respects you, that loves you, and that wants to do this life with you. That's going to make your life easier. That's going to pay their way, and they're not looking to leech and live off of you. If you keep getting men that leech and live off of you, it's because you're willing to give too much, or B, you brag about what you got too much. Because 9 out of 10 times, men, we know that when we talk about what we got, more women is going to expect us to give what we got. It's just what it is. But in most cases, women brag about what they have with no intentions on giving a man. Most women don't have no intentions on ever giving a man. Most women, if you really sat them down, go ask them. I'm asking let me do a poll. Ladies on my live right now, what is the most amount of money you ever spent on a man on his birthday? You give me that ice cup? Pour that in. You just pour it all in there. What is the amount of money you spent the most on a man's birthday the whole thing? What is the most you ever spent on a man's birthday? I'm curious. I want to see this. Let's look at this. What is the most amount of money you've ever spent on a man's birthday? I want my ladies on my live. Answer that question. Somebody said $200. How old are you? Monique, how old are you? If she's young, she can get away with it. $200. $200. Somebody said $150. Right? He spent more. $300. You see what I'm trying to say? This is what I'm trying to get at. Somebody said $45. $48? Oh, the person said she's 48 years old. The most you've ever spent on a man in your 48 years of living is $200, but I bet you in my life you expect a man to spend way more money than that. Just on a date, on getting to know you. Somebody said $500. And this is what I try to explain to you. This is why our culture is twisted. Because you expect somebody to do something for you that you're not willing to do for them. And this is why we can't find people that love you genuinely for you. Because in most cases, when a man comes and gives you all of that, he expects control. Because you're not even, you basically, he's your pimp. He's your pimp. And this is what we don't look at. And then you wonder why you have all these men, oh, they this and they that. Somebody said $100. $100. $100. I'm gonna say this, and I want you to get this, right? Look at this. I'm gonna give you a gem. This is facts. I think the only man a woman absolutely loves, unconditional, outside of her father, is her son. I don't think a man can absolutely, completely, they're not taught how to love a man unconditionally. I think the things that they hold on to, there's some kind of condition. Whether it's great sex, good finance, you have mommy or daddy issues, it's something that you're holding on to, genuinely never loving that man 100%. I think in most cases, more men will unconditionally love a woman for who she is, whether she's trash or anything else in between. He'll love her for who she is and try to build with her. And I think a lot of men have lost their kingdom by pouring into someone that wasn't even a queen. And I'm just being 100% honest. I think that a lot of women get away with not doing great because the expectations of them being great is very minimal. It's not a lot that a lot of women get judged to the magnitude. In a lot of cases, a lot of women do not get judged to the magnitude of what men get judged. Therefore, a lot of women think they're actually more successful than they truly are. Because again, you can come outside with your Fashion Nova. You can come outside with your cheap sandals on. You can have a $10 whole outfit on and a man still gonna wanna hit it. So therefore, you get away with a lot. And if you had to be held to the same standard as men, a lot of women will not meet the requirements of being an adult. A lot of women will not meet the requirements of being an adult. If we had to trade roles for a day, and society had to look at you the same way they looked at us by not being achieving, a lot of women will not be called women. And I'm calling a spade a spade. But if you say this, somebody gonna get offended. But I call it truth. A lot of people think that they brag about, I could pay my own bills. You grown as hell. You grown as hell. The average life expectancy is 78, and you're over 40. So you got more years behind you than ahead of you. I think you should be able to pay your goddamn bills. It's crazy. And you want credit for that. Go ahead.
The one who said she spent $500, she said it was a mistake because he became needy. So it was a mistake that she spent $500.
Somebody said it was a mistake spending $500. Call in right now. Tell me that story right now, caller. 516-253-1150. Someone call in right now. 516-253-1150. Call in right now. Talk to me. I genuinely believe that if we were held to the same standards, men and women, as far as what we achieved, a lot of people would be sick. They'll be sick. I'm like, you're not an adult. You're not an adult. The average man won't be able to own his own home. The economy is too expensive. Let you ladies know this, and I want y'all to hear this good. Comparing your grandfather to the man of today is diabolical. The dollar is just not even the same. Your grandfather could have worked one job and paid the mortgage, and your mom, their grandmother didn't have to work. You keep thinking your grandfather was broke comparable to the times. He wasn't making no real money because everything was so cheap. That's what it is. So you bragging about your grandfather was broke as hell. It's the truth. Remember they drove that old station wagon, right? Caller, what's going on? What's going on, Caller?
What's going on, man? I was just listening to your podcast, and I just wanted to say, yeah, it do be like that. I just spent damn near $1,000 on this girl I thought I was in love with.
See?
And then after the ball dropped, the relationship vanished. And then people was telling me, oh, you all about money. But I guess you got to go through it and see it to understand these females only want money.
Can I give you advice on something?
Yeah.
When you meet a woman, right? Close your eyes.
Yep.
Don't think about her sexually. Get to the point where you don't even see her only sexually. Get to the point where you're attracted to what she got going for herself. You're attracted to her future, that she's going to add value to your future. Always look at it from a business transaction. Because the same way they see us as a business, you have to, as a man, look at them as a business. Because the reality is, if you're a retail store, you cannot have a good retail store if you have no inventory on your shelves. You were able to get the retail store. Your woman's supposed to put the things on the shelf so y'all can sell and make more money. If a woman ain't adding value to that, what is the point in even entertaining her? Because again, you're giving your resources and you're not building. And then when you're not building, guess what we do as men? We go through depression. We go through stress.
Yeah.
We be sick sometime in our own bodies, but again, you're giving away your value. You got to hold on to your value, and if you're going to give the value, it has to be a queen. A queen will multiply that value. When a man pours into a queen, she multiplies value. But a peasant woman will take away the value and ultimately just keep eating from your resources. You get what I'm saying?
It's all gone. That's a fact.
But that's what we got to stop looking at those girls, because those girls were taught wrong. You seem like a king that actually want to build your woman up, that want to give your woman a better life. But in reality, you got to give yourself a better life before you can give anything else. You got to build yourself 100%. Don't give what you can't afford to lose. And secondly, don't never let a woman talk you into giving her things because of the fact that her daddy didn't give it to her. Call your father. I'm not your father. And remember years ago.
Appreciate it, Q.
Listen, I appreciate y'all more, man. I love my black women. I love my black men, but I'm going to always tell the truth. We fighting against this mentality. This mentality that is sick.
That's a fact.
But I'm going to tell you this before you get out of here. Tell them women, sit down. If you don't see the king in me, so the woman behind you can see me. Because the woman behind her is going to see you, but you got to realize that you don't fight. Don't prove nothing to no woman. The woman that's meant for you, she going to see you. And when she see you, she going to see you. So sometimes we got to get beyond looks and just look at the overall mentality of the person that we trying to build with.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, King.
Understandable right there.
I appreciate you, King. All right. Caller, what's going on, Caller?
Hey, this is Ash.
Ash, what up?
I said for 500 about me spending that on my partner.
And I see you said it was a mistake?
I didn't. I feel like it was a mistake because he's genuinely never really done anything for me. It's always been at my own expense. And I genuinely love and care about him, but it's always, I feel like if I have to do for him in order for him to do for me.
So you got a little diva, man. You're a little diva.
Yeah.
But then again,
I always do unconditionally. I'm a giver. I'm naturally just a giver and a lover, So, and for me, I always tend to get men that want to take from me. And I feel like I know that about myself, but I'm just a lover and genuinely just a giver.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Stop giving.
What was that?
Stop giving.
Stop giving.
Stop. Because I'm going to be honest with you, because there's a level of resentment that's in you. You understand? And that's what you're going to build every time, because expecting you and other people is when you automatically fail. In life, you can't expect you out of people. What you do is you give the same energy somebody give you. You know that saying, keep that same energy. You make them keep that same energy. If you're not giving me the energy I want, I'm not going to give you the energy that you want. I'm going to keep the same energy you give me. And I'm not saying being petty, but I'm saying just being mindful. Make sense?
Right. Yeah.
So listen, sometimes again, if you
Definitely does.
be careful, givers gotta date givers so they can get a balance. Because if you date a taker don't stop taking. They don't know how to stop taking.
That's true.
I don't even date nobody that tell me their love language is gifts. I'll stay away from those kind of people. I ain't Santa Claus.
And for me, and then like towards, you know, in the relationship, he's giving me things, but it never amounted to what I've given him. And I don't care about that because I'm not materialistic. I mean, of course, I want nice things and I deserve nice things, I feel like, but I can get nice things for myself.
Who's in a better
it's
financial
nice
situation
when other
though?
people- Me.
There you go. So you telling on yourself. Sometimes I ain't gonna lie,
Right.
you know, you was in a better financial position. So guess what? It makes more sense that you did it. I wouldn't look at the fact if I'm dating a girl that I make more money than, I'm always gonna look at it like, of course I spent more money on restaurants because I make more money than her. So it's just common
But when I
sense.
started dating him, I knew he didn't have all his finances in order, and I was okay with that. Like maybe I maybe sound like a Build-A-Bear, but it's just like, okay, I feel like I can, you know, get him to see his potential.
Was he
You know what I
was he
mean?
loyal?
And he's older than me too. He's 10 years older than me.
Was he loyal?
Yes, he is actually.
Was he a cheater?
No, he's never cheated on me.
Did he put his hands on you?
Never.
Did he respect you?
Okay, then that's where I feel like he respects me, but there's things that have felt like it's been disrespected. I've been disrespected, not in a sense to where he disrespects me because there's another woman or anything like that. It's just like the way he's talked to me and vice versa.
It could be because of insecurity for himself. Like sometimes when a man hasn't built himself up, a lot of times the insecurity projects and it comes out. That's why I always tell men to work on themselves because they get very angry, they can become very aggressive. But in reality, people, especially when they're not built, they usually hurt the person they love the most. So I always tell men, build themselves up first, so therefore you won't pour that negative energy onto the woman. Because women, y'all are nurturers, but y'all shoulders get heavy too when dealing with too much nurturing on a man.
Right.
You know?
And we also have a kid together. And the other thing is we are a long distance relationship. We've been together for 4 years, and we've been in this long distance relationship for 4 years, and we also have a kid together.
Y'all still together?
So, yes.
Well, you know, the suggestion I always make is sometimes in order to understand each other, we might have to do like therapy. You know, do some counseling therapy, you know, some couples therapy, so that I can start understanding each other better a little bit. So because again, sometimes we hear each other, but it still don't sound like nothing. You know, in order for you to hear it, sometimes you need a mediator.
Right.
You know, so sometimes, you know, that's to me, that's more healthy. One of the couples that I actually mentor, I actually gave them 2 counseling sessions, and I paid for them to go get them sessions because they just kept saying the same thing to the point where neither one of them was hearing each other. And he would say things about her that she'll say the same thing about him. And I'm like, y'all basically saying each other's the same person, but they couldn't see it.
Would you be open to doing counseling with me, Tom?
100%. Shoot me a DM. I don't
Okay.
counsel. What I do is I mediate.
That sounds great.
I'll definitely do it.
Right now, it's no contact between me and him right now. So, I mean, that would be great.
Listen, I'm all for it. Shoot me a DM. Tell me who this is, and we work it out.
Okay. Thank you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much.
No, I appreciate you too. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
You too. Guys, this is just what it is. It's about, look, my whole goal is to build back love and teach each other how to love and actually show each other that love is natural and normal. But in order to get past the first steps, we got to get past the first steps. A lot of people aren't living in their truth. They're living in delusion because of social media. It's created a very nasty mentality. I think that we're in the heaviest term of narcissism I've ever seen in my life, whether male or female. It's scary because it's like, one is, what have you done for me lately? And I only care based on what I can get from the situation. I think that's how most people operate in today's society. And I think that is the most unhealthiest way of even dating somebody. When you're going into a relationship looking at what a person can do for you rather than, can you really love me and appreciate me and make me feel valuable? I think that's more prominent than anything. When I reference love, I reference the Bible. The Bible speaks about love in the sense of being selfless. The Bible referenced love in the sense of being never holding ledgers. The Bible reference love does not impose its own will, meaning force what it wants. And I think that's what we've learned, how to basically create love that even our parents didn't have. A lot of us was taught how to love from people that's never been loved. A lot of people were taught by parents how to love that's never been loved. And then the sad part is they're spewing this mentality off to the next generation that's actually hurting the next generation. And I want to break this cycle, because otherwise the culture is going to continue to go down this rabbit hole. It's only going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. The number one way to build wealth is through families. If you remove families, you'll see the financials go down. Black people are falling behind extremely financially because black people have the weakest unity when it comes to family. And I'm going to call it what it is. And if somebody have in their feelings, that's on you. Most black people you talk to, first thing they say, I don't rock with my family over here. I got a problem over there. I don't like her. I don't like it. It's always something. Because this is what we've been taught how. To fight each other opposed to work with each other. And if we continue this mentality, we're going to keep suffering and ultimately bleeding onto our children and creating a race of babies that hate the ladies and a race of women that hate the men. And it's going to continue to go. I'm going to get one more phone call before we get out of here today. 516-253-1150. One more time, 516-253-1150. One more person calling before we get out of here today. And my goal is to unite families and help us work with each other and build with each other and show us, like, the one thing I valued about the woman I just spoke is her man don't hit her, he don't cheat on her. So therefore there's love there. But there's certain aspects that he has to maybe learn so he could be even better, but he seems like a very good man. And I'm just being fair. Based on what society standard is, most men can't keep their thing in their pants, right? And then I don't hear her saying that he takes the money and go run behind girls. And I know broke men who will have multiple relationships and then cry about how much it costs them to be in relationships when you shouldn't be, because again, you're not in a position to do it. Someone call in 516-253-1150. One more time, 516-253-1150. We want one more caller before we get out of here today. Like I said, when you look at it, and I ask everybody on my live today, sometimes you should go to the mirror and ask yourself the hard questions. Am I easy to deal with? Am I thinking logical? Am I being fair in the relationship? Do I expect too much from somebody that can't expect a lot from me? Am I overvaluing myself? Am I being considerate of my mate's feelings? Am I being fair? Because I look at a lot of times that a lot of people aren't being fair. We expect people to be perfect when we know that we're imperfect ourselves. We expect things from people that's unfair. And then we call them bad people because they didn't give us what we wanted. That's called narcissistic beliefs and thoughts, entitlement. But that person respects you, they was there for you, they wanted to spend the rest of their life with you. When a man, when a woman come together, they become one. In reality, if a man and a woman come together, they both giving the rest of their lives together. Neither one of them are less valuable. A man is willing to give his whole life, and a woman's willing to give her life. That's what the value is. But ladies, if you can find a man that's willing to literally give his life for you, literally, that's the value. Till next time, guys. Don't let that go over your head.